What's going on, everybody? My name is Repvile, and today I wanted to take a second look at ARK Survival Evolved for the Nintendo Switch. The more I've been playing it, the more issues I've been finding with it, and I kind of wanted to address those issues. And while we're talking about the Nintendo Switch port of ARK, I thought I could take this opportunity to respond to some of the comments I've been getting on some of the other ARK videos I put up. I've been waiting a long time to have a video that's performed well enough that I could do a commenting on comments video. So before we start, I want to take this chance to thank everybody that have left comments and viewed the videos, and all the new subscribers I've got in the past couple weeks. Guys, I really appreciate it. I can't thank you enough, and especially to everybody that's been here from the beginning. I feel I should point out a couple things too. It kind of segues into some of the comments that I've got. Guys, I don't make any money off of this, okay? Nothing. I don't have anything monetized. I don't ask you guys to PayPal me fucking money. I don't have a Patreon that I'm asking you to support. So the only way I'm asking of you to support the channel, if you like the content, leave a like. If I say something you don't agree with or hurt your feelings, then move on. Pound sand. I really don't give a shit. I want you guys to keep in mind, I make all this content myself. I do the editing, the gameplay, the shitty thumbnails. Like, I don't have any outside assistance. Every now and then, I might have a couple friends playing a video with me, but for everything else is pretty much me alone. And I do spend a lot of time editing and putting these videos together, and I don't have to do any of this. I only do it for a couple reasons. One, to entertain people. If you look at my videos and you have a good laugh at it, cool. Second is to inform. I feel like I have a duty to kind of point out certain flaws in games and stuff that we like to play. You know, that's not shitting on a game like some of you guys seem to think it is. Some of these flaws need to be pointed out so they can get fixed. If that hurts your feelings, you need to grow the fuck up. Now let's take a look back at ARK for the Switch for a minute. This port seems to have more of its fair share of issues than the other versions. And as you can look around on my channel, I do play all the other versions, alright? Now, some of these problems aren't so bad. You know, you could pretty much live with them. I think they probably still need addressed though. So first off, the screen resolution. As we can tell by now, and it's been said in other places, there isn't a single other game on this generation that has had this low of screen resolution, right? It's been beaten to death. I will say this, when the screen resolution is at its best, the game is tolerable, okay? It looks okay, I can tolerate it, we can play through it fine. It's a little bit hard on the eyes, but it doesn't always stay good. It seems to be bad more times than it is good, and that changes drastically when you go into handheld mode. There are times I can't even see some of the enemies that look so bad, and sometimes it's really hard to see inside your menu screen. You can't even read some of the words, you know what I mean, when you're trying to craft stuff. Now, I could get over the graphics downgrade, but the performance of this game sometimes is downright atrocious. It gets into the single digits, okay, frame rate wise. And it does this a lot, more times than it should. Now that can be extremely frustrating, especially when you're in a mob of enemies and you're trying to fight them off, or you're just simply trying to tame something. Like, when I attempted to tame this Argentavis here, I had a lot of problems because the frame rate kept stuttering, kept dropping down into single digits, and just doing simple things like jumping off the bird, shooting your weapon, jumping back on. Things like this become really frustrating because there's so much lag in between doing everything. Even getting into your menu. I mean, it takes, like, see how long that took to bring the menu up? That gets really aggravating after a while. Okay, so another issue is pop-in. Now the pop-in, sometimes it performs as you would expect it to on a port like this. It's not terribly bad. But then there are other times where enemies will appear right in front of you, like Spinosaurus, for example, that took me and one of my creatures out. Or another problem, rocks popping in. Now, I know a lot of people have all the rocks and everything memorized, but sometimes I forget where they're at, and I'm out here floating around on a boat, and I've got tames on it, and all of a sudden, the rock pops in right in front of you. Now, anybody that's played ARK for a long time knows what happens when you run into a rock with a boat full of tames. They all fall out. It's a big fucking hassle to get everybody back in the boat. It's just a pain in the ass. Okay, so this kind of goes along with the pop-in, but if you fly or you're on a mountain, you go into an area too quick sometimes the animals will spawn in after you've gotten into that area, enemies included. Well, here's another weird issue. I haven't seen this on any other version. I've got a couple Allosauruses. every time they eat, they shrink down to microscopic size, and then they like explode back up. Now some of this stuff, I'm going to show you examples of some of these things further in the video. Just want to talk about them before we get to that. Now here's some of the more, what I consider game-breaking issues. The textures from the floor. I mean, they completely disappear, leaving nothing behind but water, and you can see the rocks and stuff like that, but that's it. So you're out here flying around on your RG, and you go to land, you know, let's say you're flying up one of the streams, everything turns to water. Now you got a problem. Now you got to remember where everything is and try to land. So you can see that could be kind of an issue. So get used to seeing this here. This has happened to me multiple times. This isn't a one-off thing. And I've got more examples of this where the floor disappears later on in the video. Now what usually results after this happens is a menu screen, okay? You get a big error message on your Switch and you get kicked to the menu screen. Sometimes it doesn't always happen because of this, but it happens a lot. And I can say honestly, I've not had the Xbox One X, or my PC ever kick me to the menu screen because of a crash from ARK. Then when you take a look to the right hand of the screen here, you're going to see a turtle pop in, just out of nowhere, falls into the water. Now, luckily it's just a turtle. It's not a Spino or a Giga, which has happened to me, amongst other things. So you can see that can be a problem if you're out. Luckily we're on a bird, right? It's nothing's really going to be able to get to us. But if you were out on, you know, a smaller creature riding around, like a parasaur or something, you'd probably have a problem. Okay, so here's another weird issue. If you take a look, you're going to see the stingray. He kind of swam up, hit the rock, and just died. And he just pretty much spawned. Now I've been seeing this with all types of different sea creatures, with sharks, with the dolphins, with everything. They just kind of appear and are like instantly dead. Now maybe this happens on the other versions. I've never seen it before, and it's not like it's a game-breaking problem here, but it's just, I don't know, it's weird. Something that probably could be easily fixed. I don't know what it is that causes it. I mean, sometimes it's kind of funny, you know. Thanks for the free meat, and maybe I should be more appreciative of that. Okay, now here's another weird problem. If you consider it a problem, it's just another weird thing. Now, when the leads was first introduced on the other versions, the Xbox and the PC, it would randomly do this. You'd see them up in the stream all flipped like nose down, but they pretty much fixed this. It's just something to take note. I've seen this a lot more in this version. I haven't really seen this much in the other ones. So take a look here. You can barely make out what those are, right? Now if you were on foot, this would be a real problem. Now the closer we get, we can tell that those are Troodons, and we'd probably be having a pretty bad day right now if we were on foot. Okay, here's another example of how you could get into a problem because it's hard to see some of the creatures. You can see where I just came in. Nothing was back there. Oh look, all of a sudden, look at this little bastard. Now you know what happens when he hits you. He knocks you off your tame, and he's usually around some bigger threats. So you get knocked off, and you get eaten by a Spino. Now luckily for me, we were able to get out of there without getting dismounted. Now another small issue I've noticed, doesn't really affect gameplay, it's just another weird thing. Every now and then I'll see Pteranodons and RGs flying under the water, and then they'll come out of the water and everything will be normal. It's a little strange. Now here are two pretty big issues. I know it's a little hard to see right now. There's a really serious saving issue with this game. I've already spoke about it once before with the software errors and getting kicked to the menu. When that happens, and since the game doesn't save properly, you're going to lose hours. You're going to lose tames. You're going to lose equipment that you found that drops. And this isn't like a one-off occurrence. This happens constantly. Like the more I play the game, the more this keeps happening. And this is something that needs fixed immediately. This should not be happening right now. But to make matters even worse, here are a couple other problems. The long loading times. My god, I've waited up to 5 minutes sometimes waiting for everything to load up. And another issue, your single player settings, all your settings don't save for some reason. So every time this happens, I have to go in and I have to find out everything that I've adjusted, and I have to readjust it. So as you can imagine, this can get extremely frustrating, especially when it happens repeatedly. And here we go with the long wait. So I'm just going to skip over this because I'm not waiting, you know, I don't want you guys to watch 5 minutes of nothing. Okay, so anybody guess where it's going to start? You think it's going to start off where where it left us? Hell no. It's not even the same type of day. Now look where I'm at. This is a pretty rough spot. There's always raptors around here, sometimes alpha raptors. My bird's flying in the air. You know, my little pet's over here on the ground. Now luckily there's no serious enemies right now, or I'd probably, he'd be gone right now and I'd be dead and my bird still be flying around somewhere because he's an idiot. So I want to bring up one last issue I've noticed before I got to the comments. Now this is something I haven't seen anybody else really mention yet. The Switch itself seems to get extremely hot playing this game. Hotter than, like, any of the other games that I could tell. I wish I had one of those thermal guns I could just point at and I would know for sure, but it gets to the point where I'm starting to worry about the heat coming off of it. And maybe that's something that is contributing to some of the problems. I don't know for sure. Maybe it's just me and I'm overthinking it. But something to be aware of, and it could be something that, causes an issue the longer we play this game. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Alright, so finally on to the comments. Okay, so the first comment, this was from ARK Survival Guide. Now this was off of the video I made about Switch commands, the console commands you can use. I should point out, you guys should check this guy's channel out. It's really well made. The content's great. It's basically, he does a bunch of how-to videos of ARK, so you can help out a lot of people with his videos, and they're really well produced and put together. So anyways, he says, this is a great guide. I had it on my list to make a guide on this, but if it's okay, I'll refer people to this guide instead. I would greatly appreciate that. The more traffic I have coming in, I would really love to see my subscriber count go up. So the fact that someone like this who makes such great videos has something nice to say about my videos, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Alright, so Maydog, or it could be my dog, 1022. Thanks, you're a lifesaver. Hey, no problem, man. He had some other nice things to say about the content. Like I said, I'm really appreciative of you guys stopping and watching my videos, checking it out. I'm glad that I've put something out there that can help, if I could just help a couple of you with some of the content, that's great. And that's really, like I said earlier on, this is why I do this. If I can help you, if I can entertain. I don't have really ulterior motives. I'm not making money off of anything. And honestly, well, I should take that back. I do have one ulterior motive, I will admit. I do have a couple former friends that I used to play games a lot with. We used to play, pretty hardcore into Battlefield and Arma and some other stuff. Well, those guys, I don't know, they turned into a bunch of douchebags for some reason. And I don't really talk to them anymore. But they've all tried their hand at getting a YouTube channel off the ground. And it's always like, I don't know, crashed and burned or whatever. So an ulterior motive for me, I want those guys to come to my channel. And I want them to see that it's doing well. And I want to be like, this fucking son of a bitch. Alright, moving on. The next comment's from Levi Stefan. Says, I guess at least the whole experience is there. Good info, subscribe. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Wish it looked better on the Switch. I think it would look really fun to play on the handheld. I wish it looked better too. Like I said, it is tolerable sometimes. Sometimes it's very frustrating. To be quite honest, I've been playing a lot of this game. I've been playing, I hate to admit it, I've been playing this more than I have of the other versions right now. I'm kind of taking it as a challenge, I guess. But it is still fun to play once you get past the bugs and, you don't let yourself get overwhelmed by the problems. The underlying game is still there and it's still very fun. And I hope people can pick this up, and I hope, they can get over some of the problems and we get more people playing ARK. Because I don't ever try to discourage anybody from playing this game. If this is the only port that you can play it on, the Switch is the only version you can get it on, I hope you can get over the problems, and I hope you'll pick it up. I'm not telling you not to. I want you guys to make your own decisions. But the game is still very much fun. Hopefully, Wildcard can come in and address some of the problems. And from what I can tell on some of the forums, they have at least acknowledged the issues, and they're saying that they're working on a fix for some of them. Alright, next comment from the Nogs Nation. I don't know what the fucking Nog is. Whatever, I won't even get into that. Anyways, whoever buys this game for a console is dumb. Well, your fucking comment is dumb. Let me tell you, there's a lot of reasons people might want to pick this up for a console. I've got a couple copies of this. You know why? Because I have kids. My kids have Xboxes. I like to play with them. Sometimes I want to switch back and forth between my PC and the Xbox. Whatever I feel like playing on. I don't see that as dumb. Xbox or the PlayStation might be the only console they have. A Switch might be the only console they have. So, I don't know. This PC master race mentality, is fucking stupid. Let's just say. I can't stand those type of comments. I know some of them are just in jest or whatever, but, I mean, come on, man. There's a lot of reasons people might want to play this on console. Alright, next comment. Crimson Wolf. Atari Master Race? I don't know why I found this so funny. I assume you're referring to my logo at the beginning of the video. You're damn right, man. Since 1982. I'll give you just a quick story here. My very first video game console was a black Atari 2600 Vader. And just took off from there. I went to Sega Master System, and then I finally got an NES. I wanted the Atari computer, but, back then I just couldn't afford it. But yeah, I got my first Atari when the game, we had that game crash. We all didn't really notice it then. I know we talk about it now, but to us as kids, we didn't know it was a game crash. All that mattered to us is we found consoles and games for like super cheap, I could walk into Sears and I could get Yard's Revenge for like $2, you know what I'm saying? So, that's right, man. Atari Master Race all the way. See, I can take stuff like that. The PC Master Race shit, come on. I mean, I got a PC too, obviously. I'm doing all my editing on, but I'm not a fucking console snob. And this kind of segues into some other comments I'm going to get into. I definitely am not a graphics snob, okay? I know people say graphics aren't everything, and that's true to an extent, alright? In context. I can go back and I can play an Atari, and I can still have fun with it. I could play NES games. Graphics are worse than this, obviously, but in context, they're still playable. If the games suck, I'm not going to play them. Well, let's move to the next comment. This kind of segues into it. Alright, first up, BBad00. Who cares? Switch users should be happy that they have the game. Graphics are not always the most important thing. They kind of are in this case, because the graphics legitimately cause problems, okay? You can see enemies can get hard to see, especially in handheld mode. That's pretty important for a survival game when your very existence depends on you seeing the enemies. You see saving problems, okay? We see constant crashes that are caused by whatever. More than likely graphics not loading and the game just gives the fuck up. But this comment right here really fucking bugged me, man. Switch users should be happy that they even have the game. So, a little girl, let's just say for instance, wants a doll, okay? She's wanted a certain doll, she's been promised a certain doll for months. Christmas comes, she opens it up, and it's a doll, but it's made of dog shit, held together by fucking toothpicks. Now, somebody should come along and be like, oh, you should be happy you even have a doll. Too bad it looks like shit and smells like shit. Just because you're playing on Nintendo Switch does not mean you should accept a mediocre fucking game that's put together and runs terribly, okay? Sometimes it runs okay and it's tolerable, like I said. But the constant game crashes, the floor disappearing, no saves, I mean, it's fucking nonsense. None of this stuff should have ever have came to this game. And for someone to take that attitude, you should be happy with what you got. No, it's bullshit. We need to call out the problems so Wildcard can fix the fucking problems. Putting our head in the sand and ignoring them is not helping anybody. That's what I like to call willful ignorance. Alright, and the next comment that kind of goes along with that one, and pay attention to some of these, because I have a feeling, I have a suspicion that they're all kind of related. If they're not the same person, they're coming from the same group of people. Okay, X-Base King Ting. Don't watch the graphics, hoes. ARK is all about gameplay. I agree ARK is about the gameplay, but if graphics cause legitimate problems in a survival game that's based upon, oh my god, survival, then that's an issue, okay? I'm not a fucking graphics hoe. I can play a game that looks, I could play a port that looks worse than the other ports, as long as it performs okay. This does not perform okay. If they fix some of the other bullshit, I could get over some of the graphics, alright? If anybody making these type of comments were to look through, my video history of stuff that I've put up, you're going to see stuff from the Sega Saturn, the GameCube, PlayStation, the Atari. I definitely am not a graphics hoe, okay? Just hearing that sounds stupid to me, alright? Alright, up next. Now this is the one that really fucking set me off, especially because he's left some other posts. I'm not going to post them up here, but you can go in and read the stupidity that he has to say. B-Mac. Well, that's just not realistic. Been playing it since launch on the Switch, and I haven't ran into any of the problems like that, or even similar. I guess people do make things up when they don't like the version you do. Where do I even start with this fucking idiot? Okay, number one, I never said I don't like... I'm not putting Switch players down. I'm not putting the Switch down. If you like the game, fucking great. But don't come in here, number one, accuse me of fucking lying, when, let's see, there's video evidence of some of the shit I've been saying. All you have to do is go on the forums, and the exact same problems that I've said are on some of the forums too. Wildcard has even addressed them. But for you to come in and say you're not having any problems, that's fucking great. I'm glad that you've got the one Switch that is not having any issues, but don't fucking come into my comment section and call me a liar. You're a piece of shit fucking scumbag. Now go the fuck away and pound sand. Now, while we're on the topic of, issues with the Switch, one of the things he tried to call me out on was the frame rate problems. So let's just take a look at some of the frame rate captures that I've got. Now you just keep an eye on the frame rate up in the upper right side, and I'll continue on with some of the comments. Alright, Egg Row. In my opinion, ARK is more of a gameplay game, and graphics aren't the biggest thing in the game. But Wildcard sure ruined the game because of the graphics at this time. I couldn't agree more. Having said that, the game is still fun once you get past all the problems. But the problems do need addressed. I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm not gonna hold my breath waiting on Wildcard to fix these problems. We've all heard in the past, making certain statements that they were gonna fix things that still aren't fixed. You still got tames that slide off your boat into the water because of like weird collision. But for some reason animals can, Sarcos can come inside your boat. Your animals fall out. Just weird. There's always weird problems with the ARK. We've all kind of got used to them. Some of the problems in this game, man, it's hard. It'll be hard to get used to constant crashes and your game not saving in the correct spots and you losing tons of progress. Now, that's just fucking bullshit. Alright, who do we got next? Twigs! The pop-in, pop-out is really vicious. Any updates or bug fixes at all? Yes, Wildcard has said that they're addressing the pop-in issues and mentioned something about the resolution. So, here's what I would like to see. If the resolution in handheld mode was what it was in docked mode, and docked was somewhere in between the Xbox version and what it is now, I'd be perfectly happy with that. As long as they fixed all the other problems. The saving issue, man, that's a game breaker, man, for real. That's one of the most annoying things I have a problem with right now. And the issue of having to reset, refix all your single player settings before you start the game, that is so fucking annoying right now. That's something else that they've addressed. I mean, we'll see, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna hold my breath on it. I hope they do. I hope they give us the DLC too, because I would love to play the Center. I haven't played the Center. If they brought it here in Ragnarok, that'd be great. I have a feeling it's not going to run very good based on what we see right now, but, we'll see. Jesse, NW Wolfgang. I guess that's NWO Wolfgang, whatever. The best way for you to do this comparison would be public servers, full servers, and PvE. Basically, okay, so I see what he's saying. I agree. If I had access to a Ragnarok server, I would love to do that. If I had admin access and I could spawn something in and fly around, that I could just do it uninterrupted, fly over some bases, because I have my own Ragnarok server on Xbox and PC, and I could kind of set something up on there that would be similar. That'd be a great comparison. I fully agree. Now, I do have some ideas for some future videos. Something like that is something I will definitely, have been thinking about. So, thanks a lot. Alright, James P says, LOL. Like to see what happens during a raid. Switch gonna melt. Laugh my fucking ass off. I mean, look, I don't disagree there. And like I said earlier, the Switch does have it seems like some real heat issues with this game. I could be overthinking that, but you might be more correct with this comment than what you think you were. Alright, so up next we have another real gem from the same person. Wait, who? The first one, why are you lying? This is not even an Xbox One X. He's commenting on a video I have of all the versions, you know, a video comparison of all. I've got the Switch, standard Xbox, Xbox One X, and the Windows PC version of ARK. First, you even said in another video that it's not. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And the bottom one, bruh. Jesus Christ. You are such a liar. Notice the theme here? You just copy and paste the same exact record. This isn't a record, it's a video, whatever. From your standard Xbox. Alright, so where do I start with this stupid shit? Well, first of all, I've got another asshole coming in here, accusing me of lying, insulting my fucking integrity. Sir, I don't need to even put these fucking videos out. I just do it, you know, because it's fucking fun for me. There's nothing in here I need to lie about. Anybody with a good set of eyes right now can look at this 4-way video and see that they're all completely fucking different. I don't know what the fuck your problem is with this. I don't know how you can't see that it's different. Is it the Argentavis and 3 of them are the same Argentavis? Is that what's throwing you off? Is that fucking confusing for you? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you're not aware. But the Xbox version and the Windows PC version are all the same fucking version. I can jump into a game on my Xbox. I can stop. I can go to my Xbox One. I can jump into the same map with my same tames, my same base, my same fucking equipment. I can stop. I can go to my PC. I can use the same shit. Now I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you're watching it on a fucking phone or something, so you can't really see some of the subtle differences. I mean, the Switch should be obvious. In the upper right hand corner, that's the normal standard Xbox. That should be pretty obvious too. Now when you get to the Xbox One X on the lower left and the PC on the right, they're a little similar. I think the One X does water better. Of course, you got a better frame rate and better textures on the PC. But, you know, you can't see some of that stuff on a phone. Maybe that's what you're watching on. I don't fucking know. But don't fucking accuse me of lying. You sound like a fucking asshole, and you look like a fucking idiot when the proof is right here in front of you. Like, maybe you need to see an optometrist, you know, maybe look for some help. I don't know what to tell you, man. I will say, a couple of these comments, they have some of the same linguistic signatures. I'm starting to think that some of them might be the same person from using different accounts. Or, I don't know, man. Maybe the same group of people from somebody insulted on another YouTuber's channel have decided to come here and leave their little dislikes because they are all fucking butthurt over something I said. I really don't give a fuck. But regardless, hey, thanks for the view. Alright, I think we got time for one more comment. I'm gonna leave it on a good note. And this one's from Shimzon. I was contemplating buying the Switch version, but this review helped me decide to get it. I thought it ran much worse from what people were saying. Well, when I put that first overview out, I didn't realize like how bad it did run. You know, hopefully I'm helping expose some of the problems, but I'm glad that you decided to get it. I'd be real interested to hear how your experience has been so far. And like I said, I'm not doing this to dissuade anybody from picking this version up or any of the other versions. I just want everybody to see, you know, how they compare to each other and some of the problems the Switch version has. That way you're able to like make a better informed decision instead of listening to some people that say, hey, graphics don't matter. It's all about the gameplay. Sometimes graphics does matter in certain, you know, circumstances, but the underlying gameplay is still good, you know, when it's not turning off and losing saves and the floor disappearing and some of the other things that I've showed you in here. Now, hopefully the issues get addressed. All that's going to do is lead to a better game, but if you guys have a problem, we need to, you know, we need to expose the problem and hopefully it gets addressed. That's going to help all the Switch players out. It's going to help the whole ARK community out. Alright guys, well if you're still here after all my rambling, I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the new subs. Everybody that's subscribed so far, you guys are awesome. Every day I log in, and if I see that subscriber count climb, it's like, it's really motivating to get more videos out. You know, check out some of my other stuff. I've got stuff from Monster Hunter. I've been cranking out a lot of those. I've got some old Battlefield videos up. I mean, I've even got some retro stuff on here you guys might be interested in taking a look at. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See ya.